Chapter 872. You can't tell Ni Yong that I'm donating my liver. But why not? Huamin thought that if she told Ni Yong about Mrs. Xie's liver donation, maybe he would be touched and the mother and son would be able to forgive each other. However, Xiewan suddenly told her not to tell Ni Yong. She didn't understand what was going on. Because I feel like I owe him too much. I don't want him to forgive me just because of this. I feel like I haven't done enough as a mother. You're right, I was too selfish in the past. We're both my sons, so why did I only love Shuai Shuai? It's not fair to Ni Yong. I was so ignorant asking him for money and hurting him. I'm partly responsible for his illness. Miss Xie, don't blame me. I was really angry at the time. Ni Yong is a good kid and so is Shuai Shuai. I really hope that you guys can be happy and talk things out as a family. I understand what you mean. As an outsider, not only did you help us with the money to treat his illness, but you also want to help us reconcile. I'm very happy about this, so I thought about it for a long time. I decided to donate my liver to him and cure his illness. Then I'll slowly make up for everything. Okay, I understand. I respect your decision. Huamin was very happy that Xiewan was willing to help Ni Yong. To be honest, she didn't have much confidence in the beginning and was afraid that Xiewan would refuse. After all, humans were selfish creatures. It was indeed difficult for her to use her liver to help a son that she hadn't spoken to in years. Fortunately, she agreed in the end. Then you should go for a checkup in the afternoon when you have time. Do all the pre-surgery checkups. Ni Yong is already hospitalized in the VIP room on the top floor. Xiewan nodded. Qin Manor Qin Yuman was worried about Lady Qin's foot injury, so he flew back from Hawaii. When he got home that night, he saw Song Yisher, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. Mr. Qin. She smiled. Yisher. Qin Yuman asked uncertainly. It's me, Mr. Qin. Why didn't you call me when you came back? Song Yisher makes dumplings with the maids of the Qin family. Her hands are full of white flour. Ever since she returned to China, she hardly went home. During the day she spent most of her time with Lady Qin, playing golf, shopping, playing mahjong, drinking tea, arranging flowers, and so on. Fortunately, Song Yisher had a good temper and didn't get tired of Lady Qin's nagging. It's okay. I have a company driver to pick me up. Where is she? Mama Qin is doing a facial mask upstairs. She'll be down soon. When did you come back? I saw you last time when I went to Italy with your father. It's been 5 or 6 years, right? Qin Yuman sighed. Yeah. I was only in my early 20s back then. I was still young. Time flies, but you're still so young. You're just as handsome as before. Song Yisher smiled cutely. You little girl. You only know how to make me happy. Qin Yuman laughed heartily. Mama Qin has been talking about you. If she knew that you were back, she would be so happy. Song Yisher said with a smile. Just as she finished speaking, Lady Qin came downstairs in her nightgown. Oh, let me see who's back. Sir, did you come to the wrong place? Is this your home? Lady Qin said sourly. We're so old, is it fun to argue? Qin Yuman said helplessly. Chapter 873. Fun. Aren't you very capable? Didn't you say you didn't want to stay with me and went to look for your cousins? What, they can't tolerate you anymore, so you want to go home? I can't handle your mouth. Qin Yuman felt like his wife's sharp tongue had hurt a lot of people. I'm always like this, it's not like you just met me. What a joke, why are you pretending to be a gentleman with me? Seeing their unhappy conversation, Song Yisher immediately laughed and said, Mama Qin, Mr. Qin, you can wash your hands and eat now. Sister Lan and I made shrimp dumplings, they're delicious. Yisher, you're the best. Mama Qin smiled like a blooming flower, then walked over while swaying her hips. Qin Yuman didn't say anything else, and after the maid put the luggage upstairs, the three of them sat down in the dining room. Yisher, you're not going back to China this time, right? Qin Yuman asked. Yeah, I'm not going back. Have you thought about what you want to do? Do you want to come to GK? Qin Yuman was very close with Mayor Song, so he was very polite to Song Yisher. That's a good idea, you can help Chu at the company, Lady Qin chimed in. Mr. Qin, Mama Qin, thank you for your kindness. But I can't. I'm not studying finance, I'm just an artist, so I can't help him. I'm planning to open a high-end art school and take in more children to teach them how to draw. It's a way to pass the time. Sure is such a caring child. Lady Qin loved Song Yisher so much that she almost went crazy. No matter what she said, Lady Song would agree. Qin Yumin also nodded. That's good, after all, you've been learning how to draw for so many years. Your father will be happy for you. Yes, my daddy is very supportive of my opinion. These few days he even helped me find a place to rent it. Huh. Trisha, have you called Chu? Can you ask him if he's coming back for dinner? I don't think so. He usually has dinner with Huamin. Ever since Song Yisher had awkwardly bumped into Huamin while delivering supper, she seemed to have some ill feelings towards him. He did not dare to take the initiative to look for Qin Chu, because she realized that Huamin was very powerful. What are you afraid of? What? As long as Huamin was here, Huamin would be the heavens. Was she the sun? Everyone is circling around her. Take out your phone and take it. Just say that you're back. Our son will definitely be back. Lady Qin said domineeringly as she pointed at Qin Yumin. I'm a little tired. I'll call them back another day. No, call them now. Also, don't let Huamin see them. Seeing them makes me annoyed. Ever since she fell down at Huamin's house, Lady Qin disliked Huamin even more. It was as if they were mortal enemies, a thorn in her side. What you're doing is making things difficult for our son. Isn't my son making things difficult for me? He knows that I don't like that girl. But he still married her to piss me off. Didn't you know? This time I got injured because of her family. Luckily I have good stamina, or else they would have killed me. You don't know how evil Huamin is. When he saw me fall, not only did he not help me, he even gloated. Luckily Shirshir arrived in time and drove me to the hospital. I'll hate that little bitch for the rest of my life. Mrs. Qin continued to blabber on and on. I'm full, you guys eat. Shirshir, I'm going upstairs. You don't want to listen to your son? Who do you think you are? Lady Qin didn't seem to want to let it go. Qin Yumin ignored her and got up to go upstairs. Clearly he didn't want to listen to her nagging. Mama Qin, forget it, Dad just got off a long-distance flight. He must be tired. Let him rest first. It won't hurt to have dinner with Qin Chu for a day or two. Fine, since you said so, I'll do you a favor, Lady Qin said pretentiously. Sure. Your parents didn't set you up on blind dates or anything, right? No, I don't really want to find one myself. I'm not in a hurry. Song Yisher smiled embarrassedly. Upon seeing this, Lady Qin immediately grabbed her hand and asked, Sure, if Chu gets divorced, will you marry him? Song Yisher was slightly surprised. Chapter 874. Mama Qin, what are you talking about? Don't joke around. How could Qin Chu get a divorce? He loves Huamin so much. Song Yisher smiled bitterly. Nothing is impossible. Let me tell you, men are all the same. Once you get your hands on someone, you'll get tired of them. There's no cat that doesn't cheat. My son won't be attracted to Huamin for long. Once there's a misunderstanding, there'll be a rift. I don't think they'll get a divorce. I think they'll get a divorce sooner or later. I really like you. I really hope you're my daughter-in-law. Mama Qin, I don't think I'm that lucky. Chu doesn't seem to like me. Who said that? He liked you so much when he was young. The year you lived with us, the two of you played so well. Lady Qin always tried to talk about things that happened when they were young. The truth was, when Song Yisher was young, Qin Chu didn't have much interaction with her. Qin Chu was introverted and didn't like to talk when he was young, so he didn't have any feelings for Song Yisher. At that time he was still living alone in a lonely world. It wasn't until the first year of high school that he met a girl that lit up his entire world. However, women were always blind when it came to relationships. Even Song Yisher couldn't resist the temptation. Although she kept rejecting Lady Qin verbally, she was actually quite happy when she heard what Lady Qin said. If Qin Chu could really get a divorce, it would be a good thing for her, right? After Jiang Xiaowei got pregnant, the Wei family was overjoyed and began to prepare for their wedding. The wedding was set for the 1st of January, New Year's Day, and there were 500 tables. The Wei family had been in Sea City for many years. They were well known and influential, and they also had many branches. They had many rich allies, so when the news of the wedding was released, it immediately dominated the entertainment headlines. For a few days there were news reports, so Jiang Xiaowei didn't dare to leave the house. Other than going to work during the day, Wei Liao rarely went out at night. Most of the time he stayed at home with Jiang Xiaowei. Tang Chuan was not very reliable. Sometimes he went abroad to play and sometimes he stayed at home to pick up girls. All of a sudden Suyu was all alone. He felt as if all his friends had left him. Therefore, after he finished his work during the day, he began to return to the Su family more often. On this day, after returning to the Su family for dinner, only Mrs. Su and Lord Su were there. You, Grandpa? What is it? One of Grandpa's former comrades wants to come here with her granddaughter to play. Are you going to spend a day with us? Don't. I don't like to socialize. Su Yu directly refused. This isn't a social gathering. We're just friends catching up. Then Grandpa can just ask your adjutant to do it. Once you give the order, everything in the army will be done for you. No, it's rare for Grandpa to take a vacation and I don't want to have anything to do with the army. It's a private gathering. How about this? You pick her up from the airport in the morning and bring her home. We'll eat together and in the afternoon you can take us around. Don't you have a resort in the west at Beauty Lake? We can go there to fish and eat some barbecue or something. The old man seemed to be very interested. Since Grandpa has already said so, don't refuse, Mrs. Su said with a smile. This. Su Yu really didn't want to, but he didn't want to spoil his grandpa's mood. In the end he could only nod. Okay then it's settled. I'll give you the flight number and the name of the person later. Don't forget. Got it. Su Yu was depressed. If he had known earlier he wouldn't have come back for dinner today. Who knew that his old man was so good at causing trouble? After dinner, Lady Su mysteriously pulled her son to the side. Your grandpa really put a lot of thought into this. Do you know why his old comrade brought his granddaughter here? Is he going to introduce her to me? That's right. Su Yu, Mom. I don't like blind dates. This isn't a blind date. What if she's to your liking? No, Mom. Even if she looks like Chang'e, I don't want her, Su Yu said firmly. Is it because of that girl from the Hua family? Lady Su looked at her son meaningfully and asked. Chapter 875. Mom, don't tell the truth. What should I say about you? Everyone outside says that our little ancestor of the Su family is a playboy. You have a lot of girlfriends and scandals. Actually, Mom knows that you're just putting on a show. You've been stubborn since you were young. If you like something, you'll go for it. That's a good thing you're loyal, but it's also a scam. Son, we can't covet something that doesn't belong to us. We have to have a bottom line. Mom, I didn't cause her any trouble. I didn't know that she was married before, so I confessed to her rashly once and was rejected. After that, I didn't say it again. Actually, my request is very simple now. I just want to see her occasionally. I don't want anything. You don't have to worry about me bringing shame to the Su family. That's good. Hearing her son say this, Lady Su's expression softened a little. The next morning at 6 a.m, Su Yu woke up and followed the driver to the airport in the Bentley. At the VIP exit, a thin old man and a young girl in her early 20s walked out. The old man was wearing a gray Chinese tunic suit. He looked very authentic and serious. The young girl was very lively. She was wearing a small leather jacket, a short skirt, black stockings and long boots. She was very fashionable and had a head of curly hair. She looked very sweet like a doll. Su Yu walked up to the old man. Are you Grandpa Su? Yes, I'm Su Qiushan, the old man said with a serious face. Hello Grandpa Su, I'm Su Yu. You're the grandson of the old class president, right? You're really talented. Not bad, not bad. The old man praised Su Yu endlessly. The young girl behind him immediately interrupted. You're Su Yu. I know you. I heard that you've been dating Jian recently? Is that right? The young girl smiled in a gossipy manner. The old man turned around. Minna, don't be rude. This is my granddaughter, Su Jimin, the old man introduced. Su Yu nodded slightly. Then he got into the car with the two of them and drove all the way to the Su family. On the way, the girl kept talking to Su Yu in the back seat. I heard that Mion under your company is being kept by a local young master. Is that true? Su Yu, is it true between you and Jian Tong? Or is this a publicity stunt? Are you having an affair with Annie Liang? Did you break Annie Liang because you were with Jian Tong? Is that why she signed with GK to make things difficult for you? Also, why is your singing so good? I saw the live broadcast of GK's 30th anniversary on TV. The song you sang just once was for a girl, right? Is it Jian Tong? Su Yu, this little girl's mouth was like a cannonball. She kept asking questions which made Su Yu completely confused. Your questions are sharper than a reporter's. How am I supposed to answer them? Suyu looked helpless. It doesn't matter. You can answer them one by one. Suyu, Jimin, don't be rude. The old man also had a headache. It really wasn't a wise decision to bring this gossipy granddaughter out to play. At the Su family mansion, the two old men hit it off immediately and were very close. Only then did Suyu find out that his grandfather was the squad leader of the army during the War of Resistance. This old man was his old comrade who had gone through fire and water with him. He was a year older than his grandfather, but he respected his grandfather very much. He was also the head of a military region in the south, and his status was second only to his grandfather. He had many children and they were all in the army. His family had a lot of background. And because Su Jimin was the youngest daughter of his youngest son, she was the apple of the family's eye. Perhaps it was because everyone spoiled her that she didn't know what to say. You take Minra out for a walk. Young people have more common topics to talk about. Master Lord Su took the initiative to speak. Although Suyu didn't want to, he still nodded. Go. He turned around and walked out of the mansion and Su Jimin followed. Take me to Imperial Star. I really like Jian Tong. She's my favorite actress. I don't like Xiao Qingya. Although she's pretty, I feel like she's fake. Oh right, the internet said that she went abroad to further her studies and quit the entertainment industry. Is that true? Why is there no news about her at all? Chapter 876. Don't ask about this, it has nothing to do with you. Suyu didn't seem to want to talk to the little girl. Are you afraid that I'll tell others? I won't, don't worry, I'm a very principled person. The little girl said confidently. How old are you? Suyu had a cigarette in his mouth as he glanced at Su Jimin. The little girl raised 2 fingers. I'm 20. Then why aren't you in school? What are you doing out here? So cold in the north. I'm studying in Singapore. There are a lot of vacations there, so I come back often. I'm in the south and rarely see snow. Sometimes it snows and it melts before it hits the ground. My grandpa said that the winter here lasts 5 months and it snows a lot. I want to see it. What's there to see? It's boring. Suyu leaned on his Lamborghini, not knowing what to say to her. They had nothing in common. Can you take me to Imperial Star? I heard that you're the biggest boss of Imperial Star and all the celebrities listen to you. The little girl was obviously a groupie. You won't see any celebrities at this time. They're all acting or filming. Why would they go to the company? Really? Then what do you have here? Can you take me out? Or do you have something good to eat? The little girl looked excited. Suyu woke up too early in the morning, so he didn't have much energy. We'll have breakfast soon, don't run around. Oh, I want to go out and eat. I want to experience the culture here. The little girl insisted, and Suyu's head hurt from all the noise. He drove his Lamborghini and took her out. In the end, they went to Oxan's ramen at the back door of Second High. This ramen is good, right? Su Jimin asked as she looked at the small sign. It's okay. Suyu said perfunctorily and walked in first. Boss, 2 bowls of noodles, 1 big and 1 small, Suyu said. No boss, 2 big bowls, thank you. You can eat that much. Suyu looked at the little girl in disbelief. If I can't finish it, I can give you the rest. Suyu. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. It was too shocking. If she couldn't finish it, she would give it to him? Did he think he was a trash can? I won't eat your leftovers. You have to be clear about this, Suyu warned seriously. Why are you so nervous? I'm just teasing you. I can eat a lot. A big bowl is no problem. Then the 2 of them sat at the dining table. It just so happened that it was time for school in the morning. Many students were walking in through the back door of Second High School. Suyu was a little stunned as he watched. If he had studied here all those years ago, would he have also been attracted to Huamin? Seeing how engrossed he was, Su Jimin suddenly asked, Do you like high school students? Suyu looked at her helplessly. You're thinking too much. That's not right. You chose to eat here because there's a story here. Tell me, did your ex-girlfriend like this place? No. Suyu denied it directly. Then the girl you like likes to eat the noodles here. Suyu, see. I guessed right? The tomboy you like graduated from this school, right? Su Jimin suddenly asked. How did you know? Just by looking at you. You brought me to eat noodles near the school so early in the morning. I didn't just think that this place was delicious. I knew that you liked it here. But Grandpa said that you joined the army at a young age, so you probably didn't go to high school. So, I guess that the girl you like probably graduated from here. Okay. Suyu sighed slightly and didn't say anything else. The person you like isn't Jian Tong, right? Su Jimin asked again. Why do you have so many questions? Do you think I have 100,000 whys? Suyu was a little impatient. I'm just asking. What's wrong? The girl looked wronged. Then she noticed that the look in Suyu's eyes changed. He was staring at the door, his eyes unmoving. She turned around and saw an Audi R8 slowly stop in front of the ramen restaurant. A girl with delicate features got out of the car. She was wearing jeans, heels, and a short black trench coat. Chapter 877. Boss, a small bowl of ramen please, Huamin said as he walked in. Okay. Huamin saw Suyu as soon as she walked in. She nodded and greeted him. Then she sat down at the table next to him. She originally planned to eat with Chin Chu in the morning, but Chin Chu received a call and rushed to the construction site to deal with work. She drove here herself and planned to go to work after eating. However, she didn't expect to see Suyu here so early in the morning with a girl beside him. Ever since Huamin came in, Suyu's gaze changed. Hey, it can't be that dramatic, right? Is it her? Su Jimin asked. Just then the boss brought their noodles to the table. Suyu pushed a bowl in front of her and said bluntly, "Don't talk, eat your noodles." Su Jimin pouted and didn't say anything else. The two ate their noodles in silence. Huamin hadn't been in a good mood lately. Because tomorrow morning, Jixin would fly to Jing City at 3 a.m. and then transfer to New Zealand. This trip was thousands of miles away and she didn't know when he would come back. While eating, Huamin was a little absent-minded and looked a little lonely. Although Suyu was focused on eating his noodles, he couldn't help but look up at her. He waited until Huamian finished a bowl of noodles and left. Suyu couldn't help but walk up to her. Are you okay? I'm fine. You don't look well. Oh, maybe it's because I've been busy with work, Huamin said faintly. Then take care of yourself. Okay. Huamin nodded. Huamin. He said again. Yeah. It's my birthday next Friday, and there's going to be a cocktail party at my private mansion at 6 p.m. Can you come? Suyu hesitated for a long time, but he still wanted to invite Huamin. He felt that if he could see her on his birthday he would be very happy. Huamin didn't directly refuse, but she didn't agree either. He watched the Audi R8 drive away. Only then did Suyu come back to his senses and sit down to eat his noodles. She's the girl you like, right? It's none of your business. Suyu asked impolitely. Am I curious? Shut up and eat your noodles, Suyu said fiercely. Su Jimin didn't say anything. When the two of them returned to the Su family's villa, it was almost noon. Suyu took her for a walk outside before returning to the mansion. Grandpa Su seemed very enthusiastic. Jimin, how's my Yu doing? He's an egomaniac, and he has a quick temper. He's always so fierce, Su Jimin commented sincerely. When the two old men heard this, they laughed out loud at the girl's honesty. No, he's good. At least he's sincere. I don't like guys who are too fake and hypocritical, the girl added. Would you be willing to be my granddaughter-in-law? Master Lord Su was very straightforward. Grandpa. Suyu didn't seem happy with his grandpa's joke. Forget it. Master Lord Su, no. What? You don't like you? Master Lord Su asked. No, he's much older than me. I don't want to find someone so old. I like young men. I like an young. An young. This time the two old men were confused. When did you have a boyfriend? How come I didn't know? Grandpa Su asked with a serious face. Suyu helplessly explained for her. The Ni Yang she's talking about is a celebrity. Only then did the two old men realize. Master Lord Su wanted to matchmake Su Jimin and Suyu. Although they were 7 or 8 years apart, their family backgrounds were similar. The two old men agreed, but unfortunately the two children didn't seem to think so. Su Jimin seemed to have a good impression of Suyu, but when she saw how gentle he was to that girl when they were eating ramen, she gave up. She felt like giving up. Su Jimin knew very well that it was very tiring to like a man who had someone else in his heart. GK headquarters, when Chin Chu finished his work and returned to the company, it was already 10 in the morning. After the meeting he was about to go out for lunch when he saw Song Yisher. You were looking for me? Chin Chu asked her. Yeah, do you mind having lunch with me? Song Yisher smiled and invited him. Her questions were always so tactful. If Chin Chu said that he minded, he would seem too petty. If he didn't mind, he would have to have lunch with her. Chapter 878. Let's go, I'm going downstairs too. Chin Chu didn't refuse and went downstairs with Song Yisher, at a Western restaurant downstairs. The two of them ordered a steak set. Then Song Yisher took out a blueprint and handed it to Chin Chu. What's this? I'm planning to open an art school, right? So when I was looking for a location I saw this. It's a store in a new building under your company. This 7-story building is empty and hasn't been rented out yet. It's in a good location, so I wanted to ask if you could rent it to me. You want to open a school? Yeah. I've been back for so many days I can't always rely on my parents. I've been studying art for so many years and to be honest I wanted to open a studio. But there aren't many people here so there won't be much business. So I decided to go all the way and open a school. I can even teach kids, it's pretty good. Oh. Chin Chu nodded faintly. Can you rent it to me? I'll pay you the rent. Song Yisher smiled. You can use it, we're planning to rent it out. As for the rent, you can pay me normally. You can talk to the administrative department about the contract. I don't usually care about these things. Okay, thank you. Song Yisher nodded in thanks. Chin Chu lowered his head and sent a WeChat message to Huamin. He looked very focused. He completely forgot about Song Yisher who was sitting across from him. She felt a little awkward sitting across from him. So just as Chin Chu and Huamin were talking she suddenly said on purpose, Chu, Mr. Chin is back. He wants you to come home for dinner tonight. Huamin happened to hear this. She sent a WeChat message to Chin Chu and typed, Is Song Yisher with you? Yeah, she came to find me. She wants to rent an apartment under the company. Why do you have to ask about something like this? Isn't that the administrative department's business? Huamin was unhappy. I don't know. Let's see how I torture you when we get home. Honey, I'm innocent. Did I say anything about you? Why are you crying injustice? Huamin replied domineeringly. Chin Chu was speechless. Chin Chu, Chin Chu? Seeing that Chin Chu didn't respond to her, Song Yisher shouted again. Chin Chu finally looked up. Papa Chin is back. Got it. I'll contact him later. Oh, okay. Song Yisher nodded. After the meal, Chin Chu paid the bill and went back to the company. Song Yisher drove to have afternoon tea with a few socialites. However, he did not expect to meet Huasiqian here. Hi, Miss Song, Huasiqian greeted her. Huashao. The socialites greeted him as well. Huasiqian was very popular in the circle. Both men and women liked him. Other than Su Yu and Chin Chu, young Master Hua, Song Yisher greeted him as well. I haven't seen you in a few days. You've gotten prettier. Thank you. Song Yisher smiled elegantly. Are you free tonight? I made a reservation at Phoenix Terrace. Do me the honor of joining us for dinner? Huasiqian invited her. I'm sorry, but I have plans tonight. Oh, I see. Okay then, another day. Enjoy my treat. Huasiqian paid the bill like a gentleman and left the restaurant. After he left, the socialites immediately gossiped. Is Huasiqian pursuing you, Sure? Yeah. Huashao likes pretty girls. You're so pretty, of course he's interested in you. He even danced with you at your party the other day. I also heard that he hasn't had a girlfriend since he broke up with Mo Shui. Maybe he wants to pursue you, Sure. You guys are overthinking it. I don't think he's interested in me. Song Yisher smiled. Chapter 879. No way, we can all tell, a socialite said. No way, it's obvious. He wanted to treat you to dinner and dance with you. What man would do that for no reason? Not necessarily. I heard that the whole corporation is in the running for a piece of land. Maybe he wants to use me to get my dad's recognition, Song Yisher said slowly as she took a sip of coffee. Hey, you're right. Song Yisher would never think that a man was nice to her because he liked her. Although she thought she was beautiful and charming, it depended on what kind of man he was with. Huasiqian was a playboy, but he wasn't infatuated with her. She would rather believe that Huasiqian got close to her for a reason. When Huamin got off work, he went straight back to Sky Blessing Court. Chin Chu called her, but she didn't pick up. When Chin Chu got home, he saw that no one was home and guessed that she was at Sky Blessing Court. So he drove to Sky Blessing Court. Yang Meirong made a lot of dishes. Because Jixin was leaving tomorrow, everyone was sad to see him leave. This time, Chin Chu was the one who found Jixin's school, tuition and residence. For Jixin's sake he did everything himself and picked the most suitable university out of the 10. Brother-in-law, you're here. Is your sister here? Yeah, she just got back. She's in the kitchen with my mom. Qin Chu walked in, took out 2 cards from his pocket and handed them to Jixin. One is a SIM card that allows you to make international calls. When you get there, just change the SIM card. The other one is a Union Pay card that can be used all over the world. You can use it when you're overseas. There's 1 million in it. You can use it now and the finance department will transfer it to you every month. Don't feel burdened, just spend it however you want. Brother-in-law, I know you're super rich but you're too stubborn. How can I spend 1 million and transfer it to me every month? Oh no, it's too much. Take it. If you can't spend it all, bring it back to me. Jixin knew Qin Chu. He didn't say much but he always expressed himself with his actions. Once he gave you something you had to take it. That was his way of doing things. My sister gave me money, brother-in-law. Your sister gave you money and this is mine. Take it. There's no harm in having more money. I know you won't flaunt your wealth so you won't get into trouble. Qin Chu. Thank you, brother-in-law. Jixin carefully put away the 2 cards. Then she looked at Qin Chu and said, Brother-in-law, I don't know how long it'll be before I come back. It's a long journey, so if there's nothing else I won't go back and forth. My mom is fine. She often goes out with those aunties but my sister is a workaholic. She only listens to you so you have to take good care of her. Also, hurry up and have a baby. I really want to be an uncle, Jixin reminded them. Qin Chu nodded in agreement. Just then Huamin walked out of the kitchen and placed a dish on the dining table. He glanced at Qin Chu and asked, President Qin, what did you have for lunch today? Steak. Wow, not bad. Did you have red wine? Oh. Wait, you had steak and a beautiful woman. Why didn't you have red wine? Huamin said sourly. He thought that she was jealous because she overheard Song Yisher's conversation on WeChat. Then he said, Honey, let's talk about private things at home. Don't talk about it here. This is my home too. Why can't we talk about it? Also, I'm not going back tonight. I want to stay here. Okay, I'll stay here too. Why should you stay here? This is my home. Sis' brother-in-law bought this house. Jixin reminded her. Shut up. Are you my brother or his brother? Huamin deliberately scolded Jixin. Jixin, honey, you're right. Everything you say is right. Qin Chu's attitude was good. Don't give me that. Are you trying to bluff your way out of this? Nope. Anyway, I'm not going back. Jixin's leaving tomorrow so I'll move back here for a while. You can reflect on yourself. Honey, stop it. Qin Chu's heart couldn't take it anymore when he heard that Huamin was moving back to her parents' home. I'm not, Huamin replied angrily. I just promised Jixin that we'll have a baby. If you move away, how am I going to fulfill his wish? Qin Chu smirked. Chapter 880. So you married me because you wanted a baby? Huamin asked, pretending to be angry. Before Qin Chu could say anything, Jixin spoke up for his brother-in-law. Sis, you're so unreasonable. Brother-in-law is already like that and you're still trying to be unreasonable. Don't say anything, let him speak. Huamin looked at Qin Chu fiercely. Honey. Qin Chu looked like he had been wronged. The more he said, the more mistakes he would make. What if he really got into trouble and they separated? Just then Yang Meirong walked out. Dinner's ready. Thank you for your hard work, Andy. Qin Chu respected Yang Meirong very much. Even though she had a bad temper and was prejudiced against him, Qin Chu still wanted to thank her for raising Huamin for more than 20 years. It's nothing. Don't be so polite with me. Hurry up and eat. Yang Meirong brought out the dishes one by one, and the 4 of them sat around the table. It's all thanks to Qin Chu that Jixin went abroad this time. Auntie, it's my duty. What's your duty? No one should do anything for anyone. Even if we're family, we have to be considerate. The house we live in is all thanks to you. I only have 2 wishes for the rest of my life. One is for Mian to be happy and the other is for Jixin to live a carefree life. As long as you guys live well, I won't have to worry about you, Yang Meirong said as she ate. Don't worry, Mom. We're not kids anymore. Huamin smiled. Jixin, be a good boy when you're there. Don't get into trouble. Mom, I don't get into trouble in China. Don't worry. If something happens, I'll call brother-in-law. Qin Chu nodded. Huamin looked at Jixin and realized that Jixin really liked Qin Chu. It was no wonder. Other than Huamin, Qin Chu treated Jixin the best. He had already mentioned changing cars twice. Luckily Huamin stopped him. Otherwise, Jixin would probably be driving a Porsche by now. After dinner, Huamin dilly-dallied and refused to leave. Qin Chu was not in a hurry. He drank tea in the living room and waited for her. In the end, Yang Merong couldn't take it anymore. Hurry up and leave. Look at the time. Your brother's flight is at 3 o'clock. Qin Chu already arranged for a driver to send him. What are you still doing here? I'll stay a little longer. What are you waiting for? Both of you have to go to work tomorrow. Go home and sleep. Your brother is going to school not to suffer. Before Huamin could say anything, Yang Merong pushed and shoved Huamin out. Then she quietly got into the car with Qin Chu. After getting into the car, Huamin's face was still gloomy. She was in a bad mood. Honey, don't be sad. Seeing Huamin's gloomy face, Qin Chu's heart ached. Huamin was no longer mad at Qin Chu. After all, Huamin didn't care about Song Yisher at all. She leaned into Qin Chu's arms and said in a small voice, Honey, I still don't want to leave Jixin. What should I do? Huamin was already used to being an older sister. Over the years, she would rather live frugally to take care of her brother. Occasionally chatting with Jixin on WeChat and eating had become a part of her life. She never thought that one day he would leave this city and go to a place so far away. Therefore she still couldn't accept it, just like how she couldn't accept Huang Yu's death. Life is a process of constant parting and reunions. No one is immune. Everyone is the same. Qin Chu gently hugged Huamin and comforted her softly. I know, I'm just a little sad. In the end, Huamin cried in his arms for a while before the two reluctantly drove away. Huamin didn't sleep much that night. She tossed and turned thinking about Jixin the entire time. At 3 in the morning she got up and looked at the time on her phone. Then she went downstairs to get some water. She looked at the dark sky outside the window and thought about how her brother was already on a plane to New Zealand, across the ocean. I hope you'll be all grown up when you come back, Huamin murmured quietly. 3 days later, Huamin went to the second board meeting of the Hua Corporation during his break. Xin Jiani looked at the transfer records and saw that 400 million yuan had been transferred to the corporation's account. All of the board members seemed to be relieved. Then, to no one's surprise, Hua Si resigned. As a father, Hua Jinghai apologized to the board members for not teaching his son well and put on a good show. After the board meeting ended, Hua Siqian stopped Huamin. What? Aren't you curious about what I'm going to do next? That's your problem. What does it have to do with me? Huamin never thought that he was on the same side as Hua Siqian. Chapter 881. No, it has something to do with you. Come back tonight and I'll show you the best show ever. Tonight? Huamin was a bit surprised. Wasn't this too soon? You're making a move tonight? Huamin asked uncertainly. Yeah, that's the only way to catch them off guard. Hua Siqian smiled. Xin Jiani barely managed to block the 400 million yuan, and Hua Siqian was going to attack again. He was indeed aggressive. This time, you'll make sure that they can't turn the tables. With Huamin's understanding of Hua Siqian, he knew that Hua Siqian had already done enough foreplay. If he made a move now, it would be fatal. As expected, he dotingly flicked Huamin's forehead. He didn't use much strength. You're the smartest, you have to come back to witness such an exciting moment, or else all my planning will be in vain. My mom will be back tonight at 6:30 p.m., and the whole family will be there. You have to come. After speaking, Hua Siqian put his hands in his pockets and left. Huamin looked at him with a complicated expression. Hua Siqian was usually smiling and seemed easy to get along with. But in reality, Huamin thought that Hua Siqian was too smart and didn't care about anyone. He was full of tricks. Unfortunately, she didn't see the person in his heart. If she knew now, she would probably, Mian. Just as Huamin was about to leave the company, Hua Zhenghai suddenly called out from behind. Huamin turned around and saw that he was alone. Xin Jiani wasn't with him. What's up? You should rest today. Have some tea with Dad. I haven't talked to you alone in a while. I don't think we have anything to talk about. Huamin's attitude wasn't friendly. Hua Jinghai didn't get angry. Instead he smiled and said, Don't be so distant. Although the Hua family isn't as powerful as the Qin family, we'll still help them if they're in trouble. After all, we're in-laws now. Hua Jinghai always brought up the marriage between the Qin and Hua families, which really annoyed Huamin. Huamin wanted to refuse, but Hua Jinghai continued, How's your mom doing? I went to the old house to visit her but it was empty. Did she move away? Yeah, isn't there going to be a demolition? I bought her a new house. Really? Where is the new house? You don't need to know about this. My mother, she doesn't seem to want to see you. Hu Min said straightforwardly. Hu Jinghai smiled awkwardly. She still hates me, I know. I already said that I would slowly make it up to you and your mother. Oh right, I heard that your brother went abroad? Yes. Is there anything I can help you with? I have quite a few friends in Australia. No, thank you for your kindness. Are you sure you don't want to have tea with me? Hu Jinghai asked again. Mr. Hua, I don't like to beat around the bush. If you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to drink tea or eat, just get to the point. We're all busy. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll get straight to the point. Yen Yen is going on a blind date tomorrow with a famous person in our city. They're hosting a banquet at the Hilton Hotel. Can you and Qin Chu come as well? Hu Min immediately understood. She knew that Hu Jinghai wouldn't ask her out for tea for no reason. So it was because Hu Yanyan was going on a blind date and he wanted her and Qin Chu to go. After all, the president of GK was too eye-catching. Oh, what a coincidence, Mr. Hua. We're not free tomorrow. It's just a short lunch break. Just say hi when you guys come. Hu Jinghai tried to negotiate with Hu Min. Hu Yanyan and I aren't that close. I think it's enough if you can convince Hu Xiqian to come. After speaking, Hu Min got into his car and left. He didn't want to waste any more time talking to Hu Jinghai. It was rare for him to have a day off, so Hu Min immediately drove to find Zhu Lingling. The two of them sat in a private room in Hu Min's new coffee shop. They chatted casually. Girl, is there still no news in your stomach? Zhu Lingling quietly asked. Chapter 882. Hu Min's hand paused in the middle of stirring the coffee. Then she shook her head. Well, I heard from my mom that there's an old Chinese medicine doctor on an old street near my house. He seems to be quite good. There were a few young couples who went to see him and then they really had a baby. I think Chinese medicine won't hurt people anyway. Wouldn't it be better if they got better? Anyway, my mom said that he's quite amazing. Since you're free today, do you want to go see him? If it was every other time, Hu Min would have rejected her outright. However, this time she only said one word, okay. Then Hu Min drove Zhu Lingling to the street where she lived. It was an old industrial area. Since Zhu Lingling grew up here, she was used to living here and was too lazy to move to the city center. Finally, she led Hu Min to a small courtyard in an alley. As soon as they entered, a big stupid dog barked. What are you doing here? An old lady with an unknown accent came out of the courtyard. Hello, we're looking for Mr. Wang. Zhu Lingling vaguely remembered that the family's surname was Wang. Oh, are you here to see a doctor? Yes. Hu Min nodded. Come in, it's 20 yuan for registration, the old lady said as she reached out her hand. Before Hu Min could open her bag, Zhu Lingling immediately took out 20 yuan from her pocket and handed it over. Then the old lady led them all the way inside until they came to a small house. An old man in his 80s was sitting there with a pair of reading glasses and arranging herbs. There was a strong smell of Chinese medicine in the house. Old man, we have a patient. Oh, got it. The old man wasn't deaf at all. After hearing that, he stopped what he was doing. He turned around and walked over with slow steps. Which one of you wants to see a doctor? Me, Hu Min replied. What do you want to see? The old man asked seriously. I just want to check your pulse to see if you have any diseases. Zhu Lingling didn't want Hu Min to say it himself. After all, she couldn't say that she was infertile. It would be awkward. The old man nodded and gestured for Hu Min to sit on the chair. Then he placed a wrist pad under Hu Min's right wrist and began to take his pulse. The technique looked quite professional. In fact, Hu Min did not believe in Chinese medicine because he studied Western medicine. It was just that there were very few traditional Chinese medicine practitioners nowadays. Most of those who graduated from medical school only knew a little about it. Then they pretended to be godly doctors and randomly prescribed medicine. It was true that Chinese medicine couldn't kill people, but if it didn't treat the illness, it couldn't be cured. If it wasn't for Zhu Lingling, she really didn't plan to see a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. Her mother had mentioned it before, but she didn't respond. Doctor, how is it? What's wrong with my friend? Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. The old man slowly retracted his hand and glanced at Hu Min. She's lacking in both blood and qi. She's suffering from cold and dampness. Her womb is cold. She has a cold constitution. She probably has menstrual cramps, right? Yes. Huamin nodded obediently. Take care of your body. Otherwise, it won't be easy for you to have a baby in the future, the old man sighed. Huamin and Zhu Lingling looked at each other. Does she need to take some medicine? Zhu Lingling asked. If you trust me, I'll get some for you. If you don't, you can go to the pharmacy and buy some medicine to warm up the womb. It's best if you take it for 3 months, the old man advised. Then I'll get some from you. Huamin felt that the old man was right. From a Western medicine perspective, he knew that he had a cold womb. Then he got more than 200 yuan worth of Chinese medicine from the old man. As soon as Huamin got home, she started boiling Chinese medicine in a jar. The entire kitchen was filled with the smell of Chinese medicine. He had to take 1 packet of medicine 3 times a day. The smell was very strong and unpleasant. Most of the medicine was made from famous Chinese herbs. Anyone who had eaten Chinese herbs before knew how sour it was. After Huamin drank it all in 1 gulp for the first time, her stomach churned. Then she couldn't help but rush to the bathroom to vomit. When Qin Chu came back, Huamin was still vomiting. She forced herself to drink it, but she couldn't help but vomit. Her entire mouth was filled with the weird taste of Chinese herbs. Honey, what's wrong? Qin Chu frowned slightly. Chapter 883. I'm fine. Huamin waved her hand. After brushing her teeth, she came out of the bathroom. Then she slumped onto the sofa. Did you make Chinese medicine? Qin Chu's nose went numb. Yeah. Huamin didn't try to hide it and nodded. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Qin Chu touched Huamin's head and realized that she wasn't feeling hot. I went to see a Chinese doctor today. They said that I have a cold uterus. It's not easy to get pregnant with a body like this, so I wanted to get some Chinese medicine first, Huamin said nonchalantly. You can use dates and brown sugar as a treatment. Why did you have to drink Chinese medicine? Those are too slow. I want to get better quickly, Huamin said stubbornly. Qin Chu hugged her lovingly. Honey, you don't have to be like this really. Even if we don't have a baby, I won't blame you. This is good enough. But I'll feel uneasy. I want a baby. Huamin looked lonely. Just then, a timer beeped from the kitchen. Huamin went to the kitchen to get the second bowl of Chinese medicine. Then Qin Chu looked at her and drank the bowl of black medicine in 1 gulp without even frowning. Then Huamin covered her mouth to stop herself from vomiting. Seeing how stubborn Huamin was, Qin Chu's heart ached. However, he knew Huamin's temper. Once she decided on something, she would do it until the end. So he didn't stop her. Instead, he took out a peach from the fridge, cut it into pieces and handed it to her. Eat something to suppress it. You'll feel better. Huamin took a small piece and put it in her mouth. Then she smiled and said, Honey, you're home early today. My dad's home. He wants us to go back for dinner tonight. Tonight? Yeah, why? What's the matter? Yeah. Huasiqian told me to go back tonight during the meeting this morning. I'm guessing that the Huas are going to do something big tonight. Then I'll accompany you to the Hua family. Qin Chu had never been worried about the relationship between Huamin and Huasiqian, so he immediately said that he wanted to accompany her. What about your father? Huamin felt that something was not right. It doesn't matter. We can go tomorrow, Qin Chu said slowly. Huamin nodded. Qin family mansion. She thought that Qin Chu and Huamin would come back for dinner, so the maid prepared a dozen dishes. However, Qin Chu suddenly called and said that he wouldn't come back. Qin Yuman turned to the maid and said, The food is ready now. You don't have to wait. Chu is not coming back? Lady Qin was immediately displeased. Yeah, they have something to do. What is it? Don't they have time to come home for dinner? Lady Qin asked in annoyance. Qin Yuman didn't let Song Yishur come over because he thought that they were coming back. He didn't want his daughter-in-law to think too much. Unfortunately, they weren't back yet. Chu said that the Hua family has something to deal with tonight, so they went back. What? They'd rather go back to the Hua family than come to our house? It must be Huamin's idea. Everyone says that I hate her. Did you see that? She's purposely going against me. Lady Qin suddenly lost her cool. They went back to the Hua family for something. Why are you getting so worked up? Qin Yuman didn't like his wife's attitude. He, Qin Chu and Huamin all thought that Lady Qin was going through menopause. Why would they go back to the Hua family for something? They're such a twisted family. What year is it now? How can they still live in the same house? They're a joke in our world. Hu Jinghai, that shameless old man, is still as indecent as ever. Okay, let's eat. Mind your own business. Qin Yuman was impatient. He ignored his wife and walked straight to the dining table. On the other side, Hu Min and Qin Chu drove their Maybach to the Hu family's house at just the right time. 6:30 p.m. Hu Jinghai was pleasantly surprised to see Qin Chu and Hu Min. Why didn't you call in advance? I wanted to ask the kitchen to add more food, Hu Jinghai said happily. It's okay, we'll be leaving soon. Hu Min's tone was very indifferent. However, he still had to be polite. Qin Chu also bought Hu Jinghai a lot of high-end gifts. When they arrived, the Hu family was already there. Jiang Hong, who hadn't seen Hu Min in a long time, was also very enthusiastic. I haven't seen you in a while. Mian is becoming more and more elegant. Jiang Hong smiled. You're too kind, Mrs. Hu. Hu Min was indifferent to them. I knew my little sister Mian was always punctual. You said 6:30 p.m., not a second later. Hu Xiqian walked down the stairs. Qin Chu didn't like the way Hu Xiqian kept calling her little sister Mian. Chapter 884. You asked Mian out? Hu Jinghai was a bit surprised. Yeah. My mom is coming back today. Is it a family dinner? It's rare for everyone to get together. Then everyone sat down. Hu Si lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. He had been at home for the past few days and didn't dare to leave. After he resigned, Hu Jinghai cut off his financial support and made him reflect on his mistakes at home. When Mian sent him WeChat messages, he had to reply in secret. He had no freedom at all. President Qin, is this your first time here? Hu Yanyan was very enthusiastic and took the initiative to talk to Qin Chu. Yes, Qin Chu's reply was cold. You look much better than on TV. I heard that GK Film and Television is doing very well, Hu Yanyan continued to ask. Qin Chu didn't know how to answer because her words were completely irrelevant. Hu Min, on the other hand, smiled and replied, Thank you for your concern. GK Film and Television has always been doing well. Hu Yanyan ignored Hu Min and continued to stare at Qin Chu with infatuation. Can I go visit the company when I have time? I really like Annie Liang's temperament and acting skills. The artists aren't at the company, they're all out of town for work or filming, Qin Chu politely refused. Then can you get me an autograph or something? Hu Yanyan continued to ask shamelessly. Ahem. Have you ever seen the boss of a company ask his employees for autographs? Hu Min looked at Hu Yanyan amused. That's right, Yanyan, that's too cheap. Don't think about those messy things. Xin Jiani tried to persuade her. Mian, I heard that you're a doctor now. Jiang Hong was very well informed. Yes. Xiqian has always been the one to do the Hu Foundation's accounts. There's not a single mistake. Not a single cent is missing. You're great. Thank you, Mrs. Hu, I'm just doing my job. In the face of Jiang Hong's praise, Hu Min wasn't happy at all because these were all tricks. Who would take it seriously? Qin Chu. The thing I told you last time, the land? It hasn't been officially launched yet, but it has already become a major project for next year. There will only be news about it after the Spring Festival, Qin Chu said. Just don't forget what I told you. Hu Jinghai didn't forget to ask for a share of the loot. He was shameless to the extreme. Have you been married for a long time? Is there any news in Mian's belly? Xin Jiani asked with a smile. Hu Min felt that she was asking on purpose to embarrass him. Before Hu Min could say anything, Qin Chu said, Mian is still young, we're not in a hurry. We're going to wait. Oh, I see. Xin Jiani nodded her head as if she had a deeper meaning. Under the dining table, Hu Min reached out his hand and tightly held onto Qin Chu's. It was so good to have him by her side. He took on all the problems for her and was always the first one to protect her. Mian is indeed still young. There's no need to be in such a hurry to have a child. Mian doesn't like my brother-in-law anymore? It'll be easier if you don't have a child, and the divorce won't be so troublesome since it involves child custody. After Hu Xiqian said this, everyone was shocked. Then they heard him continue, I'm just kidding. They're so loving, how could something like that happen? Qin Chu looked at Hu Xiqian, the corner of his mouth raised, and said provocatively, even if it's a joke, it's best not to. Hu Min is my bottom line, I won't accept any jokes about her. I was wrong. President Qin, don't be so agitated. Hu Xiqian was still smiling as if nothing had happened. Jiang Hong tried to smooth things over. Don't mind him, Xichen likes to joke. Just then Hua Xichen took out a tablet from somewhere and said, I saw someone on the forum recently post that was really funny, do you guys want to hear it? After he said this, no one said anything, not knowing how to respond. Hua Xichen said again, I'll read it to you guys, this story is really interesting, I promise you guys will like it. Seeing his excited expression, Hua Min knew that the show he had prepared was about to begin. Chapter 885. Hua Jinghai, Xinjiani, Hua Si, Hua Yanyan, Jiang Hong, Hua Min, Qin Chu. These 7 people were all watching Hua Xichen put on a one-man show. Other than Hua Jinghai's group of 4, everyone else seemed to know what was going to happen. Hua Min thought that Hua Xichen must have something on her that he could use against her. Xinjiani's side would have no way to turn the situation around. This was Hua Xichen's style, he loved to hit people when they were down. It was the best time for him to make a move when Xinjiani had not recovered from the 400 million she had taken out. Hua Xichen slowly read, it says that a small-time actress hooked up with a rich man. Unfortunately, the rich man already had a wife, so she became his mistress. In order to become his wife, she gave birth to a child and finally became a rich man. Upon hearing this, Xinjiani's expression changed slightly. She seemed to have realized that Hua Xichen was insinuating something. What's there to be curious about? Isn't it normal to be a mistress these days? It means that the woman is capable. Otherwise, why would the man like her? This is a survival of the fittest society. If you lose, you can't blame the mistress. Otherwise, there wouldn't be mistresses and mistresses, Hua Yanyan said. She was obviously trying to clear her mother's name, but she didn't do it well. Hua Min didn't want to argue with her, so she quietly watched the show unfold. Hua Xichen smiled again and continued reading. The rich man dotes on the mistress and her child very much. He grants them whatever they ask for. But the funny thing is, the rich man doesn't know that the child the mistress gave birth to isn't even his. It's the child of the mistress and the man she used to love. What the rich man doesn't know is that the mistress has been cheating on him with that man all these years. She's been cheating on him. Hua Min realized something after hearing this. She looked at Xinjiani in surprise. He had a man? And the child wasn't Hua Jinghai's? Wasn't this too melodramatic? Xinjiani's face slowly turned pale. Her eyes were filled with fear. In the end, Hua Xichen smiled and asked Xinjiani, Auntie Shen, do you think this story is interesting enough? Hua Xichen, what do you mean? Why are you insinuating about my mother? Hua Yanyan couldn't hold it in anymore. Hua Xichen continued to smile. I'm not insinuating anything. Why do you have to take my words to heart? Jiang Hong seemed to know the inside story. She didn't say anything and just drank her tea quietly. Even if you're making things up, you should have a bottom line, right? Are you suspecting that I'm not Dad's daughter? What a joke. Hua Yanyan didn't think it was possible. When she was sick, her blood had been tested and found to be of the same blood type as Hua Jinghai's. At that time, she even said that if her father ever got sick, she could donate blood or something. Therefore, she was almost certain that Hua Xichen was lying. It was all nonsense. That was why she was yelling so loudly, don't look for it. The post isn't talking about you, it's about the son of the mistress. After speaking, Hua Xichen looked at Hua Si meaningfully. Hua Jinghai wasn't stupid. He understood what Hua Xichen was trying to say. Then he asked, Xichen, don't read these messy posts. They're not suitable for you. Most of them are just slanderous posts. That's true. But Dad, I found an interesting secret. What secret? Hua Jinghai was surprised. Hua Xichen took out his phone, opened a short video and handed it to Hua Jinghai. Hua Jinghai was shocked after watching it. Where did you get this? He didn't feel good. A friend from a news agency accidentally took a picture of it and sent it to me. I bought it for 3 million yuan or else it would have been exposed. What kind of video costs 3 million yuan? Jiang Hong purposely asked with a smile. Hua Min and Qin Chu looked at each other as if they understood each other. Sure enough, Hua Jinghai slammed his phone in front of Xinjiani and yelled, "Watch this carefully." After Xinjiani saw the video, her expression changed drastically. Chapter 886. She was scared out of her wits. It was a video of her meeting with her ex-lover at the end of last month while Hua Jinghai was away for a meeting in Beijing. Although it wasn't very clear, it was still a video of them kissing in the apartment. Videos weren't photoshopped. You could say that the photo was photoshopped, but the video couldn't be photoshopped. Xinjiani was so scared that she immediately fell to her knees. Master, I was wrong. I was confused. With a loud slap, Hu Zhenghai slapped Xinjiani across the face. She stumbled backwards from the slap. Mom, Mom, Hu Si and Hu Yanyan both panicked and wanted to help her up. Don't touch her. Hu Zhenghai roared, scaring Hu Yanyan and Hu Si so much that they didn't dare to move. Mom, what's going on? What video is this? Hu Yanyan was also panicking. Nothing, it's just a video of your mom having an affair with a random man while your dad was away in Beijing, Jiang Hong said mockingly. Hu Yanyan and Hu Si were both dumbfounded. Hu Zhenghai's face was beyond ugly. Xinjiani? Xinjiani. I never would have thought that you would betray me. Ah, that's great. You sure have guts. How dare you? Haven't I been good to you all these years? How dare you? Hu Zhenghai was not only furious at Xinjiani's betrayal, but his heart also turned cold. Although he was selfish, he still loved Xinjiani. Although he occasionally flirted with other girls, he protected Xinjiani well. However, he was very protective of Xinjiani and her children. He gave her a lot of money and invested a lot of love. He always thought that Xinjiani loved him deeply, but he never thought that she would cheat on him one day. Tell me, who is that man? Hu Zhenghai asked coldly. I was wrong. Please forgive me this time. I won't do it again. I won't see him again. Can you believe me? Xinjiani crawled over, but Hu Zhenghai kicked her away. Don't touch me, you asshole. Hu Zhenghai cursed. Hu Siqian said slowly, Dad, I got someone to look into this man. His name is Zhu Xiu. He's the owner of a restaurant and has his own family. I heard that he used to be Auntie Shin's classmate in middle school. They even dated. Oh no, they've been dating all these years. I got someone to look into it and found out that he never broke up with Auntie Shin. Actually, they did a good job keeping it a secret, but the paparazzi's equipment is more advanced. Oh, well, junior high school classmate. First love. Xinjiani, how dare you? I've been feeding you and supporting you all these years, but you've been cheating on me. Do you feel sorry for me? Hu Zhenghai clutched his chest as if he was furious. No, he's not telling the truth. We haven't contacted each other in years. I got drunk during a class reunion. I'm sorry, I promise I won't do it again. Xinghai. I still love you, please believe me. Their affair was suddenly exposed. Even someone as smart as Xinjiani panicked. Therefore she started crying and begging for mercy, no longer able to keep her cool. Hu Min felt sad for this woman as he watched her kneel on the ground and hug Hu Zhenghai's leg. She was willing to throw away her dignity just to keep her status as a wealthy family. Dad? I'm sure Mom has her reasons. Hu Si felt bad for his mother and wanted to explain. However, Hu Zhenghai kicked him to the ground. Get out of my way. Oh, right. See, I don't think you can call me Dad anymore. I took your hair for a test a few days ago and found that your DNA is completely different from Dad's. So I'm guessing you might be Zhu Xiu's son. Of course, he's your mom's only lover. After Hu Siqian said this, everyone was shocked again. Chapter 887. You're slandering me. Hu Si pointed at Hu Siqian and yelled. Hu Zhenghai looked at Hu Siqian in shock. What did you say? Dad, I'm sorry. Even though the results are a bit cruel, I still have to tell you that C isn't your son. Here's a comparison report, you can take a look. Of course, if you don't believe me, you can find someone to test it for you. But there's good news, Yan Yan is indeed your daughter. When Hu Zhenghai took the report from Hu Siqian, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning. All these years he had never suspected that Hu Si wasn't his son. That was why he never did a DNA test, because he thought it was an insult to Xinjiani. He didn't think that this small mistake would lead to such a big disaster. Xinjiani was so scared that she didn't dare to speak. She never thought that her lie would be exposed one day. Back then she was only pregnant because she had an affair. She was so scared that she didn't know what to do and wanted to abort the child. However, she was in a hurry to give birth to a son for the Hu family, so she took the risk to give birth to the child. After all, Hu Yanyan didn't look like Hu Zhenghai. No one would suspect her, but who would have thought that Hu Siqian would investigate her? Xinjiani. Hu Zhenghai ran up to her like a madman and choked her with both hands. He choked her so hard that it seemed like he was going to strangle her to death. Hu Yanyan rushed up to save her mother, but she was bounced away and slammed into the wall. Dad, don't be rash. What's done is done. Killing her won't change anything. Hua Xiqian tried to calm him down. Just as Xinjiani thought she was going to die, Hua Zhenghai suddenly let go of her. Let's call it a day. Mion, you and Qinchu can go home first. I have some family matters to take care of. They will be leaving now. Qinchu and Huamin stood up awkwardly. As soon as they left, Hua Zhenghai dragged Xinjiani upstairs and locked her in her room, beating her up. Screams echoed throughout the house. Hua Yanyan and Hua Si were crying. They didn't know what they could do. It's all your fault. Why are you so bad? Hua Xiqian tried to hit Hua Xiqian. However, he was thrown to the ground by Chu Yang's grappling hand. He was battered and exhausted. After beating up Xinjiani, Hua Zhenghai walked downstairs. No one is allowed to leave this house. I want to investigate this thoroughly. After Hua Zhenghai calmed down, he decided to look into it again. If what Hua Xiqian said was true and Hua Si wasn't her biological son, then she would have to make a new will. Hey, Dad will wait for you to find out. Hua Xiqian crossed his arms and sat on the sofa with a smile. I really pity you. You raised someone else's son for more than 20 years. Jiang Hong said mockingly. Shut up, all of you. After saying this, Hua Zhenghai clutched his chest. Then he blacked out and fell to the ground. After Hua Min and Qin Chu left the Hua mansion, they went straight back to South Hill Manor. It was early winter and the temperature was very low. The two of them held hands and sat by the fountain in front of the door. Honey, was the show at the Hua family good? What do you think? It was pretty good. Hua Zhenghai has done too many bad things, so this is karma. But Hua Xiqian is pretty ruthless. He should have known about this a long time ago, but he set Xinjiani up and made her cough up 400 million yuan. Then he stepped on her when she was down. I think Xinjiani and the other two, regardless of whether Hua Yanyan is her biological son or not, will never be able to turn things around. Hua Zhenghai will completely vent his anger on them. Yeah, that's Hua Xiqian's way of doing things. He's always been ruthless. Qin Chu never had a high opinion of him. Oh right, honey, I have something to ask you. What is it? It's Suyu's birthday next Friday. He invited me, do you think I should go? Hua Min didn't want to hide anything from Qin Chu, so he asked for his opinion in advance. What about you? Do you want to go or not? Qin Chu asked gently. Chapter 888. Tell me the truth? Yeah. Qin Chu nodded. I don't want to go because Suyu and I aren't close enough to celebrate each other's birthdays. I don't know why he invited me, but even if I don't want to go, I still have to go. It's because he gave me something on my birthday and I want to return it to him. What is it? Qin Chu was slightly surprised. Hua Min never mentioned it to him, maybe because he didn't want Qin Chu to get jealous. Hua Min took out a bullet shell from her purse. This is it? Qin Chu carefully picked up the bullet shell and looked at it. There was nothing special about it. Yeah, he stopped my car on the way here and gave me this. He said it was a wish for me and that if I ever needed his help he would definitely help me. Then he really put in a lot of effort. Qin Chu said with a hint of jealousy. Hua Min leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder with a smile. Hey, is Mr. Qin jealous? Would you believe me if I said no? Nope. So be it. Qin Chu lovingly patted her head. Actually, I know that this is pretty expensive and I've been looking for a chance to return it to him. Since it's his birthday, I'll come back right after I give it to him. That way I'll be able to fulfill my wish. Sounds good, but there's something you need to pay attention to, Qin Chu gently reminded her. What is it? Hua Min looked at Qin Chu in confusion. Suyu is a famous person in the city and there'll be a lot of media coverage on his birthday. Don't let anyone catch on to you. I'm afraid that someone will use this opportunity to create hype. Plus, my dad cares about his reputation a lot. If our personal matters affect the company, he might have a biased opinion of you. Qin Chu spoke very seriously, without being pretentious or pretentious. Qin Yuman's attitude towards Hua Min was much better now, and he had already accepted it. If there was any negative news because of this, his grandfather would be estranged. He could ignore his mother's opinion, but he still had to consider his grandfather's opinion. After all, Qin Chu still respected his father very much. Hua Min completely understood what he meant. They could go to his birthday party. It didn't matter if they had a meal together. But don't let the media get hold of any information that can be used against you. If they magnify it, it won't be good for your image. After all, everyone was a public figure now, especially since GK Film and Television and Imperial Star were competitors. I understand. Huamin nodded. The next morning, as soon as Huamin arrived at the hospital, she received a call from her sister Ingzi, saying that Ni Yang was throwing a tantrum and wanted her to take a look. Huamin was wearing a white lab coat and black-rimmed glasses. When she went up to the top floor, Ni Yang had already changed into casual clothes and was about to go out. Where are you going dressed like this? Sister Huamin, you're just in time. I've been bored to death for the past few days. I want to go out for a walk. No. Huamin stopped him. Huamin, even you don't understand me. Ni Yang was a bit surprised. It's not that I don't understand you, I have to be responsible for you. So, are you going to tell me? What's wrong with me? Or else I'll leave the hospital right now. I don't want to live here anymore. I'm going crazy. I don't like doctors. I want to go home, Ni Yang threatened. Sister Ingzi looked conflicted. Huamin also remained silent. What? Are you guys still going to hide it from me? Tell me, even if it's cancer, I'm not afraid. I've lived long enough. Hurry up and tell me, don't hide it from me like I'm a child. I want to know about the surgery anyway, unless one of you can sign it for me. Ni Yang felt like something was wrong these past few days. He felt like the medical staff was too careful with him. Sister Ingzi wasn't in a good mood either, and Huamin even checked on him 3 times a day. Who would believe that he just had indigestion? Chapter 889. Change out of your clothes and I'll tell you, Huamin said calmly. A young lady. Sister Ingzi seemed worried. It's okay, Sister Ingzi, I'll talk to him. You can leave first. Huamin nodded at Sister Ingzi and Ni Yang was more obedient. He went to the bathroom to change out of his casual clothes, put on a hospital gown and sat down. Tell me, what's wrong with you? Don't lie to me. To put it bluntly, your liver is failing, and you need a small liver transplant. A liver transplant? Is it liver cancer? Ni Yang looked up calmly. It's not liver cancer, it's a more troublesome type of cirrhosis. Because it's in the middle and late stages, you need a liver transplant. It's that serious. Is there a kidney transplant? Yes, I found one. So soon? Ni Yang obviously didn't believe him. Of course. When have I ever lied to you? Then, when is the surgery? Within 5 days. After a series of tests, the surgery will be done. After the surgery, I'll be cured. Yes. It's that simple. Yes, it's that simple. After Huamin finished speaking, Ni Yang still felt unsure. He looked at Huamin suspiciously. Huamin smiled. Don't look at me like that, I'm not lying to you. But you don't have to be in such a hurry. I thought I had a terminal illness. The main problem is that your liver is failing and it's affecting your digestive system. If you don't get the surgery in time, it'll affect your appetite and your weight. That's the main problem. I don't know much about professional stuff, but from what you've said, it shouldn't be a big problem. Of course, don't worry about it, Huamin comforted him. After talking to Ni Yang, the kid calmed down a lot and didn't want to go out anymore. When Huamin walked out of the room, Sister Ingzi immediately went up to him. How is it? A young lady. He's fine. Don't worry. He's using Weibo and interacting with his fans, Huamin said with a smile. Did he have any reaction after he knew? No. It's not a life-threatening illness to begin with. Why are you making a fuss over nothing? It's great. Thank you, a young lady. Why are you thanking me? It's because the liver donor is great. That's why he was able to perform the surgery so quickly. Yeah, who is the donor? I plan to give her a sum of money as compensation. After all, she helped Ni Yang. Hearing Sister Ingzi's words, Huamin shook his head. No need. She won't ask for money. You don't want money? Sister Ingzi looked even more confused. Forget it. I'll tell you about it later. I'm going to get busy. Call me if you need anything. Huamin was busy at Southside for the entire day. During this time, Hua Xiqian sent a WeChat message, saying that Hua Jinghai had investigated the matter and found out that it was true. The Hua family's power structure had changed drastically. Xin Jiani and her daughters had been banished to the cold palace. They were grounded by Hua Jinghai and weren't allowed to go out. His will was about to be changed. Hua Jinghai also said that on the day of the change, Huamin had to be present. Mian, the two of us can take their share of the cake. How does that sound? Hua Xiqian sent a WeChat message. I don't want the cake. It's not mine to begin with. I'll give it all to you. Huamin wasn't greedy. She didn't want a single cent from the Hua family. Plus, she wasn't Hu Jinghai's daughter to begin with. You don't want the money? Are you stupid? Hu Xiqian sent a WeChat message. Money isn't a good thing. It'll burn you if you have too much. I don't want things that aren't mine. You sound like you're not a member of the Hu family, Hu Xiqian said meaningfully. Hu Min began to feel conflicted. Did Hu Xiqian know about her background or not? If he did, how much did he know? Did he know more than she did? Chapter 890. Huh. Why aren't you talking? Hu Xiqian sent her another WeChat message. Hu Xiqian, you seem to know a lot of secrets. Hu Min used a lot at once to test Hu Xiqian and see how much he knew. Huh. I do know a lot. To her surprise, Hu Xiqian didn't deny it. Hu Min felt her heart race. Maybe she could get all the information she wanted from Hu Xiqian. Nervously holding her phone, she sent him another WeChat message. How much do you know? How much do you want me to know? Hu Xiqian was still beating around the bush. How do I know how much you know? Then what do you want me to know? I know too much. What do you want to know? Hu Xiqian was quite arrogant. The truth was Hu Min didn't want to alert him because she didn't want him to trick her. Therefore she asked subtly, actually, I just want to know about something that happened more than 20 years ago. Everyone says that my mom ran away with Hu Jinghai's chauffeur. Uncle Jing was the Hu family's chauffeur back then, but I don't think there's anything wrong with them falling in love. I should have asked Uncle Jing about this, but unfortunately he's not here anymore. Some things are too old to be verified. Hu Xiqian chuckled at her words. Why are you laughing? Shui. Jingda's death might be a good thing for you. What do you mean? Uncle Jing died because of me? How sad am I? Because of this, Hu Min was forced to separate from Qin Chu for 7 years. Now that Hu Xiqian said it was a good thing, she couldn't accept it. What I mean is, if Jingda didn't die, you might have died instead. It's because he saved me that I've felt guilty for the rest of my life. How do you know he did it to save you? Maybe he was the target all along. Besides, you may not know Jingda well. I only remember that my father and my mother both said that he was very shrewd. How is that possible? I was the one that was hit by that car. Hu Xiqian, you can't slander Uncle Jing. He's no longer alive, we should respect the dead. Hu Min clearly remembered the situation at that time. Therefore Hu Xiqian's reasoning made her very angry. She couldn't accept such extreme words at the moment. Hu Xiqian chuckled softly. Don't get too worked up. I was just joking. Seeing that Hu Min was a little agitated, Hu Xiqian didn't dwell on the matter any longer. So, do you want to come when the old man changes his will? Hu Min was still determined. But from what I know about the old man, if you don't come, he'll probably give you a share, Hu Xiqian added. I don't want it even if he gives it to me. Can I give it up? Qin Chu really didn't mistreat you. I can tell from the way you sound like you're rich. Fine, then it's all mine, so I don't have to worry about whether or not I should kick you out of the game in the future. Hu Xiqian said half of the truth and stopped texting. Hu Min felt chills all over her body. She was just testing Hu Xiqian, but he knew a lot. She had never doubted Uncle Jing's character. After all, he had been very good to them all these years. He didn't give Hu Min a hard time at all. However, Hu Min knew that Hu Xiqian wasn't the kind of person who would spout nonsense. He must have his reasons for saying what he said. If what he said was true, then there might be more to what happened all those years ago. She thought it was a scheme set up by the Qin family to kill her. Uncle Jing only blocked it, but Hu Xiqian was saying that Uncle Jing was the enemy's target? Not her. If Uncle Jing didn't die, then she would have died? Uncle Jing wasn't as good as she thought? If this was before, Hu Min wouldn't have doubted Uncle Jing, who had saved her life. But now, everything was really hard to say because it was too complicated and confusing. Uncle Jing was the person who knew her background the best, but he kept it a secret all these years. And in Dong Tao Town, everyone who knew the truth died a horrible death. Maybe there really was a terrifying mastermind behind all of this? Maybe Uncle Jing's death had something to do with this? And what about Qin Chu's parents? Was he just a scapegoat on the surface? Were they being used? At this thought, Hu Min shuddered. It was too scary. What kind of person could plan a conspiracy for 20 years and control everything? After work, she drove straight back to Sky Blessing Court. After Jixin left, she wanted to spend more time with her mother. You're off work. Yang Meirong's eyes were filled with joy when she saw her daughter. Chapter 891. Are you tired? You've been so busy lately. Huimin shook her head. I'm not tired, I'm not as busy as you think. Yang Mirong took out an apple, washed it and handed it to Huimin. Thank you, Mom. She smiled sweetly. Jixin called me, he's already here. He said it's pretty nice there. And he sent me a WeChat message too. I saw the photos, the environment is really nice. Mom, don't be angry, technology is so advanced nowadays, video calls are very convenient. I know, I don't miss him, I miss you. You don't have a child, I'm worried sick. Yang Mirong was worried sick about Huimin's pregnancy, so she always talked about it. Lingling took me to see a Chinese doctor the other day. I'm taking medicine now. Don't worry, I'll have a baby soon. The doctor said that I have a cold body and can't get pregnant, but they didn't say that I can't get pregnant. It's not a big problem. That's good, take your medicine on time and take care of yourself. Also, you tell the hospital not to work at night, it's not good for your health. I know. Mom, oh right Mom? Who named me back then? Why is it Huimin? Yang Mirong sat down on the sofa next to her and tried to remember. At that time I remember that I named you Hui Yunyun. That's so old-fashioned. Huimin almost spat out the apple. If she was named Hui Yunyun now, Chinchu would probably laugh at her. Yeah. Your Uncle Jing said it wasn't special enough. He said he wanted to give you a special name. Uncle Jing, why did he have to give me a special name? Huimin looked at her mother in confusion. She felt more and more that Uncle Jing had a lot of secrets. Why didn't she realize it before? Was it really like Hu Jinghai said that Uncle Jing was very shrewd? Who knows? You were different from Jixin. Jixin would go to sleep after drinking milk, but you couldn't. You were always crying before you were a month old and you were very loud. We couldn't sleep well. Later your Uncle Jing said, why don't we call you Huimin? Mean as in sleep. I hope you'll be able to sleep well in the future. That's how we decided on your name. Mom, when I was born, didn't you find Dr. Lon from Dong Tao Town to deliver me? Then, after I was born, did Uncle Jing still keep in touch with Dr. Lon and the others? Why do you keep saying that they're distant relatives? Yang Mirong nodded. Yeah, we do. When I was in confinement, your Uncle Jing went to Dong Tao Town once and gave Dr. Lon some of our local specialties. And then? Does Uncle Jing return to Dong Tao Town often? Huimin asked. Okay, quite often. He had to help you with some miscellaneous paperwork and stuff. Who knows? Anyway, when I was in confinement, your Uncle Jing was the one running around. Yang Mirong didn't seem to know much about these things. Most of the time she followed Jingda's orders. Mom, do you still have Uncle Jing's belongings? I want to take a look. Why would you look at it? It's bad luck. Yang Mirong seemed unhappy. I'm a doctor, why would I believe in those things? Mom, help me look for it, I miss Uncle Jing. Wait here. I'll go look for it. I don't think there's anything left, just a small box. Then Yang Mirong went upstairs and soon came back down with a small box. Huimin smiled. Mom, can you heat up a glass of milk for me? I want to drink it. Sure, wait here. After sending her mother away, Huimin quickly opened the small black box and began to look through Uncle Jing's belongings. She tried to find some clues, because she was getting more and more curious and wanted to know what happened back then. Chapter 892. The result was very disappointing. There were only a few things in the old box. An old-fashioned razor and a flashlight. These were all things that Uncle Jing often used when he was alive. There was also an old cell phone. It was the oldest model and was equivalent to an old man's phone. It couldn't be turned on anymore. Huimin secretly took out the cell phone and put it in her bag. If she wanted to take out the cell phone's chip, she would have to find a professional. Perhaps she would be able to find out who Uncle Jing was with before and after the accident 7 years ago. There was also half a pack of unfinished cigarettes. It was a rather old brand. The kind that cost 5 yuan a pack. Beside it was a lighter. It seemed that her mother still missed Uncle Jing, so she kept these things. At the bottom was a book that Uncle Jing often read. It was very funny. It wasn't a classic book, nor was it a more exciting martial arts novel. It was a fortune-telling book, the kind that didn't ask for help. Huimin flipped it open and saw that there were fortune-telling, and the 12 zodiac signs. These had always been popular in the countryside, because most of the villagers believed in these so-called fortune-telling. Huimin remembered that Uncle Jing used to love reading it. Sometimes he would look at the almanac before going out. She thought that this kind of book wouldn't have any clues. Unintentionally, Huamin flipped to the calendar of the month she was born. On the perpetual calendar, it was September 18, 1992. Someone had circled it with a pen. This wasn't strange. After all, it was Huamin's birthday. It was normal for Uncle Jing to mark it for her. But the strangest thing was that at the bottom of the book, there were 3 words written in black with a ballpoint pen. Regret. Only the words regret. The handwriting was a little messy. It was obvious that it was written by Uncle Jing. When they were organizing the belongings, no one looked through it carefully, so they didn't find it. Now it seemed that Uncle Jing was referring to regret. Was it because he knew that she wasn't Yang Meirong's child and brought her back? Or was there something else? Huamin had more questions when he found this. The milk is ready, Mian. Huamin immediately closed the small box when he heard the noise. Thank you, Mom. She took the milk and drank it slowly. Yang Meirong glanced at Jingda's belongings with a sad look in her eyes. This guy doesn't have the life to enjoy a good life. In the past he raised our entire family by himself. Now that our lives are better, he's gone. How ironic. Yang Meirong sighed. Uncle Jing didn't have any savings these years? That's not true. He's just a chauffeur. It's already good enough that he can support his family. Before the accident he told me that he wanted to partner up with someone to do something. In the end, the accident happened. At the end of the day, he just doesn't have the life of a rich man. Huamin lowered her head and didn't say anything. She remembered Hua Xiqian mentioning that Hua Zhenghai had given Jingda 200,000 yuan. It seemed that Jingda had never taken out the money to give to his mother. Therefore, she also suspected that the flow of money had something to do with her background. Uncle Jing seemed to be in contact with someone behind mother's back. She stayed at her mother's house until late at night. She didn't leave until Qin Chu came to pick her up. Huamin didn't mention the phone and the belongings to Qin Chu. This was because she heard from Qin Chu and Rick that Qin Chu had been investigating this incident. However, this incident was very strange. People kept disappearing. Therefore, Huamin didn't want Qin Chu to take any more risks because of her. Honey, what are you thinking about? Qin Chu asked gently when he saw that she was a little distracted. Nothing. I just miss Jixin. Huamin changed the subject. Didn't Jixin send you a WeChat message? He's settled down over there. Everything is fine. Yeah, he told me. Huamin nodded. The couple went home and went to bed early. The next afternoon, Huamin took advantage of the lunch break to go find Jiang Xiaowei at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Although Jiang Xiaowei was pregnant, she didn't hesitate at all and continued to work at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Wei Liao was also at the company during the day. The couple was busy with their own work. Jiang Xiaowei was very happy to see Huamin. She grabbed his hand and said, "We know each other so well. I was just about to ask you out for lunch. Let's go, we have authentic Cantonese food downstairs." Before Huamin could say anything, Jiang Xiaowei pulled Huamin all the way to the restaurant downstairs. "Xiaowei, I'm here today because I need your help." Chapter 893. Go ahead. Jiang Xiaowei nodded. Huamin took out a cell phone from her pocket and placed it on the table. "This is way too old. Don't tell me this is your old cell phone." Jiang Xiaowei looked at the old Nokia cell phone that hadn't appeared on the market for many years. Her jaw dropped. "No, it's an old friend of mine. He's no longer around, but there seems to be some clues in the phone. Now the phone is turned off and seems to be broken. Can you get someone to check the call history of this phone for me?" "Call history? Take out the card and go to the business hall?" Jiang Xiaowei was surprised. Huamin shook her head. "There's no card. There was no card when I got it." "No card?" Jiang Xiaowei was confused. Huamin knew it wasn't that simple. She didn't think it was a coincidence that the card in the cell phone was missing. That was why she wanted to know who else Uncle Jing was in contact with before and after the accident. "So, can you check it out? Can you find a programming expert?" Huamin had a glimmer of hope. Jiang Xiaowei picked up the cell phone and looked at it. "Stry. I can't guarantee anything. We do have a top programming expert in the city bureau. I have a good relationship with him. I'll show it to him." "All right, then I'll have to trouble you." "Don't mention it. Don't you always help me?" Jiang Xiaowei smiled. "How have you been recently? You don't have morning sickness or anything like that, right?" "No. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll eat and drink when I want to." "It's good. You don't have to suffer." The wedding is on the 1st of January. You have to be there. Of course. By the way, are you going to Su Yu's birthday cocktail party next week? Jiang Xiaowei suddenly asked. I haven't decided yet. In fact, Huamin wanted to keep a low profile and not let anyone know. Qingchu was right. Her and Su Yu's identities were very sensitive, so it was better not to make a big deal out of it. For this reason, she did not tell Jiang Xiaowei directly. That's a good idea. You're now a young lady of GK, and it's hard to say if someone takes a picture of you. It's good that you don't come, but Su Yu will probably be very disappointed. Wei Liao said that he's changed a lot recently. He rarely gets involved in scandals and spends most of his time working at the corporation. It seems like he's turned over a new leaf, and it's all thanks to you. What does it have to do with me? At the end of the day, his nature isn't bad, Huamin replied. It's true. Su Yu is really a difficult person to deal with. He looks wanton and unrestrained, but he's actually a good person. At first I thought that he had an affair with Jian Tong, but later I found out that it was just a publicity stunt. Su Yu doesn't seem to be the same as before. The truth is, he has nothing to do with me. I don't really pay attention to his affairs. Chapter 894. Mom, you probably don't know what happened to Mr. Hua's family, right? Huamin looked at Yang Mirong and asked. What happened? Yang Mirong looked confused. She really didn't know, and Huamin didn't mention it to her. Mr. Hua, do you want to tell her, or should I? Huamin looked at Hu Jinghai with a sharp gaze. Hu Jinghai didn't know what to say. If you can't say it, then I'll say it for you. That woman, Shen Jiani, betrayed Mr. Hua and met her lover for more than 20 years. Not only were they caught on camera, but Hua Si was also proven not to be Mr. Hua's son. What? Huamin said everything in one breath. Yang Mirong was completely dumbfounded. Hu Jinghai took the opportunity to hold Yang Mirong's hand and said, Rong, you're the best. I was blind to believe that bitch Shinjiani. I'm so sorry for you and your mother. No, you're not sorry for me. You're sorry for my mom. Even though she was a mistress, she didn't want to break up your family. She was the only one who foolishly believed that it was love. Huamin knew his mother's difficulties. Even though she was also a mistress, she was different. Shinjiani did it for money, power, and the Hua family's fortune. Yang Mirong was trapped by love. Once she wanted to die because Hu Jinghai had a change of heart. Luckily she met Jingda, and the two of them got together and lived a normal life. Mr. Hua, you can't be so snobbish. You gave up on my mother back then, so what's wrong with coming back to admit your mistake? Not all mistakes deserve to be forgiven. You can't come here to seek comfort just because Shinjiani hurt you. Our family doesn't sell Yunnan Baiyao, we can't heal your trauma. Everyone knew that Huamin had a sharp tongue. Qin Chu quietly watched Huamin show off. His wife's aura was indeed oppressive. That charm, that aura, it was simply too mesmerizing. Qin Chu almost couldn't help but laugh when he saw Hu Jinghai's face darken and darken, then turn green again. How did his wife come up with such a rich vocabulary? What the hell? That's great. That's great. I didn't think that you would have such a day. I knew that Shinjiani wouldn't want to be left out. Yang Mirong smiled. Now that she had gotten her revenge, she felt much more relaxed. I was blind. I'm sorry. Hu Jinghai kept apologizing, then he tilted his head to look at Huamin and said, Mian, I didn't come here today to beg for your forgiveness. In fact, I came here to ask you to verify my new will. I've already decided to give a large portion of my assets to you and your daughter. I'm sorry, Mr. Hua, but we don't need money anymore. Maybe we used to be poor, but we're doing well now. My husband, Mr. Qin Chu, has given us a lot of food, clothing, and money, so we're not interested in your will. If you don't have a place to donate, then donate it to a welfare home or charity. Huamin definitely wouldn't accept Hu Jinghai's will. If it was before, she wouldn't have been so pretentious and would have just accepted it. However, now that she knew that she wasn't Hu Jinghai's daughter, she wouldn't go against her conscience and take this kind of money. After all, she wasn't a woman like Shinjiani who would do anything. Mian is right. We don't need money, so we don't need a will. The truth was, Hu Jinghai wasn't that kind. The only reason he was willing to change his will was because he was tricked by Shinjiani. Moreover, he had already thought about it. If he could get on good terms with Huamin in the future, then GK would be one of his backers. When the time came, he could use Qin Chu to deal with Hu Siqian and take out everything that belonged to him. Therefore he had to give Huamin a taste of his own medicine. Unfortunately Huamin didn't buy it. Nephew Qin Chu, please help me. I really want to leave some money for them. If I'm gone they'll have insurance. Hu Jinghai stared at Qin Chu who hadn't spoken yet. Chapter 895. Look at how fake Hu Jinghai's words were. Qin Chu calmly replied, It's okay Uncle Hua. I can take care of my wife and I won't mistreat my mother-in-law. You're overthinking things. Qin Chu's words made Hu Jinghai even more speechless. Hu Jinghai was the one who gave him the cold shoulder. Did you hear that? We don't care about your stupid money. Don't think you're so great just because you're rich. Let me tell you it's useless. I was with you back then partly because of money, but after all these years, I've realized that no matter how much money you have, your happiness won't increase because of it. No matter how rich you are, you won't live to be 200 years old. Yang Mirong was also on her daughter's side. Hu Jinghai saw that this family wasn't going to listen to him, so he got up and left. Mom, the Hua family is in chaos right now. I don't know what he's up to. Don't open the door for him again, okay? I know, I only let him in because he said he wanted to talk to me about something important. If I knew he was like this, I would have kicked him out a long time ago. Hu Jinghai really can't change his ways. He's always slandering your Uncle Jing, how shameless. Huh? Did he say anything to you about Uncle Jing? Huamin immediately asked. Yeah, he always slandered your Uncle Jing in front of me. He said that your Uncle Jing is a shrewd person, and that he'll never be able to see through him, that he's always in the dark and that he'll help people count the money after being sold. Oh, what's wrong? Yang Mirong asked curiously. Nothing, I'm just asking. Huamin smiled and didn't ask any more questions. On the way back, Qin Chu shook Huamin's hand and asked with a smile, Why are you so mysterious lately? Nothing. I feel like you're hiding something from me. Why would I? Huamin immediately denied, feeling guilty. Really? Qin Chu obviously didn't believe him. I really didn't. Mr. Qin, I swear to God. Anyway, if I find out, I'll teach you a lesson. Qin Chu smirked and didn't say anything else. In the blink of an eye, Su Yu's birthday arrived. A few days before that, all the media began to report on it. Many people had been paying attention to it. They had thought that Su Yu would hold a grand birthday party at Imperial Star. But there was no movement. When Jian Tong, Mian, and the other female artists were interviewed, they all said that they didn't know about their boss's arrangements. The employees of Imperial Star were also tight-lipped about their boss's birthday. But the more it was like this, the more curious the media became. Su Yu's birthday party started at 6 p.m. in Su Yu's private villa. It was the villa with the most luxurious private aquarium in the country. Wei Liao had once joked about entering Su Yu's villa. Felt like following Ocean Park. Yes. There was tempered glass everywhere and all kinds of marine life and tropical fish could be seen everywhere. It was so romantic to sleep in his house. But unfortunately no woman could stay in Su Yu's mansion. Because he really didn't like strangers entering his personal space. Even when Zhao Qingya was his favorite, she didn't receive such treatment. Su Yu's 28th birthday was very important to the Su family. At noon, Su Yu had lunch with his grandparents. Then, according to tradition, he went to the Su family's ancestral hall to offer incense and kowtow to his ancestors. At night, he came back to the villa and began the young people's celebration. Famous directors and actresses from all over the country arrived in Sea City. Luxury cars were parked outside Su Yu's private villa. However, because the villa was heavily guarded, the media couldn't get in. So most of them hid outside anxiously. Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei attended the party. Tang Chuan had a new female partner. She was Chinese-Russian and was rumored to be the new favorite on the runway. She was 1.78 meters tall. Because the theme of the party was red, all the guests, regardless of gender, wore red. It was as festive as the Spring Festival. Su Yu wore a dark red casual shirt with black decorative stripes on his sleeves and chest. It was luxurious and elegant. There was a black jewel on his left ear which shone brightly under the illumination of the lights. Holy shit! Look, Lord Su is so handsome tonight. Tang Chuan exclaimed to Wei Liao and the others from afar. Chapter 896. Everyone looked over and saw Su Yu standing in the middle of the crowd with a glass of champagne in his hand. He kept looking at the door as if he was waiting for someone to arrive. Su Yu's private mansion had a 400 square meter garden and was extremely luxurious. The style of the design was unprecedented as well. Many celebrities were shocked when they walked in and clicked their tongues in amazement. A red carpet was laid out from the entrance all the way to the front of the mansion. On the stage beside the swimming pool, a famous girl group was singing and dancing enthusiastically. Western food, red wine, champagne, and all kinds of drinks and food were everywhere. There were also countless flowers decorating the place. Extravagance and spending money had always been Su Yu's style. Although he didn't want to make it public, he didn't spend a lot of money. However, the decorations were not any less extravagant. It was still extremely luxurious and eye-catching. "Lord Su, you're so handsome today, I'm about to fall in love with you." Tang Chuan went over to tease him. "Stop bullshitting. If you don't have anything to do, help me receive more guests. I'm so busy that I'm going crazy." Su Yu was speechless. Those who weren't invited didn't know how they found out, so they arrived one after another. It was like the opening of a film festival. All the artists under Imperial Star were present. Even Annie Leong, who had already jumped ship, came. She was wearing a bright red gown and was dressed very flirtatiously. "Dr. Jiang, you're very beautiful today." Su Yu looked at Jiang Shaowei and smiled. "I've always been this beautiful, okay?" Jiang Shaowei held onto Wei Liao's arm. "How is it? When is young Master Wei coming out?" "The expected date is August next year." Wei Liao seemed to have a sense of superiority. After all, he was the first one to become a father out of all of them. "Hurry up, who's that?" The girls went crazy. Su Yu and Wei Liao also looked toward the door. A man in a red tuxedo walked in. He didn't smile and his eyes were sharp. He was very good-looking, but everyone didn't seem to have seen him before. "Is that the new artist under Imperial Star? He's so handsome." "It can't be. Imperial Star didn't advertise it, but it's really good." "So cool, you're not even smiling," the girls whispered to each other. The man walked straight to Su Yu. Then he stretched out his hand. "Lord Su, happy birthday. When did you return to China?" Su Yu was really surprised. This was Xin Mingxi, the son of the Beiyang Automobile Company. He was one of the 4 princes of the nation, along with Su Yu, Hu Xiqian, and Wei Liao. His looks and family background crushed Tang Chuan's, so Tang Chuan did not have a good impression of him. However, because he had been studying in England, very few people in China had seen him before. According to the rumors, he and Su Yu had a blind spot. Looking at it now, there was indeed some basis for it. "I just arrived last night. Why didn't you call in advance? I'll pick you up." "If I told you in the past, would it still be a surprise?" Xin Mingxi replied. Su Yu smiled. The two chatted for a while and then Xin Mingxi walked in. "Pretentious guy, why is he back?" Tang Chuan looked unconvinced. "You don't hold a grudge over the rankings from back then, okay? He doesn't care about it, but you still can't forget it." Wei Liao laughed. "I can't take this lying down. Our families are about the same, but we lost because of our looks. If we're talking about looks, I'm more handsome than him, okay?" "Yeah, you're the most handsome person in the world." Then Su Yu turned around and left. "Fuck, Lord Su, why do I feel like you're insulting me?" Tang Chuan complained behind him. Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei were amused. "Huh? Old Wei, do you think Qin Chu will come? If your wife is being coveted, do you think you'd still go to her birthday party?" "That's a good explanation. How big is that? If you don't like it, let's make a bet." "I bet a yacht that Qin Chu won't come." Wei Liao laughed. Chapter 897. I'm not betting. I'm scared that I won't even be able to put on my pants if I lose. But I have a feeling that Huamin will come, Tang Chuan added. You're feeling. I think that Huamin will divorce Lord Su." Wei Liao rolled his eyes at him. He felt that Tang Chuan's guesses were mostly unreliable. There were so many people at this kind of event. It wasn't appropriate for Huamin to come, right? Just then a guest walked in and attracted attention again. Song Yisher? Why is she here? Tang Chuan was surprised to see Song Yisher. He didn't remember her being that close to Lord Su. "Young Master Su, happy birthday." Song Yisher was wearing a pair of red wide-legged pants and a white short-sleeved shirt. Although it was early winter outside, Su Yu's mansion was filled with enthusiasm. Most of the guests were wearing summer clothes. "Thank you. My father is out of town for a meeting, so I'm here on his behalf. Please forgive me, young Master Su." Song Yisher was indeed a social expert. Every frown and smile of hers was perfect and didn't make people feel uncomfortable. Mayor Song was very concerned about Su Yu's birthday. He told Song Yisher to come and bring a gift. That was because old Master Su had a lot of influence. Who would dare to offend his precious grandson? My father asked me to bring this to young Master Su. Song Yisher handed him a cylinder. Please thank Mayor Song for me. Su Yu was calm. He was used to dealing with these bureaucrats. I heard that. Young Master Su and Huamin are good friends? Song Yisher suddenly asked. Su Yu raised his head and looked at her quietly. He didn't know what she meant. Just then Song Yisher added, Huamin and I are friends too. She's a nice person and I like her a lot. Was that so? Su Yu's reaction was very indifferent. He didn't like people probing his relationship with Huamin. Or rather, he didn't think that he had anything to do with Huamin now. If I like someone, I won't say anything. Is there anything wrong with that? In the distance, Jiang Xiaowei looked at Song Yisher and whispered, I don't like this Song Yisher. Wei Liao was a little surprised. There's no particular reason. It's just a feeling. It's the feeling I got at first sight. It's right that you don't like her. She might be Huamin's biggest rival. This woman is the apple of Mr. and Mrs. Qin's eye. She's Lady Qin's weapon. She's also the only woman who can come and go freely in the Qin manor and openly meet Qin Chu. Tang Chuan had always been well informed, so he began to dig up information about Song Yisher. A woman like her? Forget it. I don't think she's a match for my Hua. Jiang Xiaowei liked Huamin a lot, so she sometimes referred to her as my Hua in front of outsiders. It was an extremely intimate way of addressing her. Wei Liao smiled as well. I don't think she's a match for her either. There's no one who can defeat Huamin in front of Qin Chu, right? Wei Liao had personally witnessed Qin Chu's feelings for Huamin, so the couple echoed each other. Tang Chuan, on the other hand, whistled and said, I actually hope that she can defeat Huamin. Then Huamin will be heartbroken and fall into the arms of my Lord Su. My heart aches for my Lord Su. Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Liao, fine, they had to give in to Tang Chuan's words. This guy always liked to watch the drama unfold. Not long after Song Yisher entered, Hua Xiqian arrived as well. He was wearing a red tuxedo and looked extremely flamboyant. Beside him was Emo Shuo, who was wearing a red strapless evening gown. As soon as Emo Shuo appeared, she became the center of attention once again. Many famous directors and producers surrounded her, as if they really wanted to work with her. Hua Xiqian and Su Yu stood on the side. Today's event is quite grand. I'm already being very low-key, Su Yu said with a smile as he took a sip of champagne. Will she be here? Who? Su Yu pretended not to know. Don't play dumb with me, okay? I'm not sure, she didn't say, but I invited her. Su Yu smiled bitterly. He really wanted Huamin to come, but Huamin probably wouldn't come. I'm guessing that girl from my family will come. Hua Xiqian smiled mysteriously. How do you know? Did she tell you? Su Yu asked with a glimmer of hope. Chapter 898. How's that possible? She's not the type of person to say things like that. I just think that even though she looks cold and sharp-tongued, she knows who's good to her and knows how to be grateful. I think she definitely knows how you feel about her. You gave her fireworks and a motorcade for her birthday. I don't think she won't show up. She'll at least say happy birthday. That's her personality. Hua Xiqian watched Huamin grow up. Even though they didn't interact much, he knew her personality very well. Therefore he guessed that Huamin might show up. However, it was hard to say. After all, if she cared about Qin Chu's feelings, she might not show up. It was hard to say. When Su Yu heard this, he stuck out his tongue and licked the corner of his lips. He didn't say anything. He used to think that birthdays were just for everyone to burn money to celebrate and that it was meaningless. However, this time he suddenly felt that he had something to look forward to. If Huamin suddenly showed up and said happy birthday, he would be very happy, right? After all, the person who said happy birthday was too important to him. However, he also knew that if Huamin didn't want Qin Chu to be unhappy, she might not show up. After all, to Huamin, no one was more important than Qin Chu. Emo Shuo was surrounded by a group of people asking for autographs and photos. Then they posted it on their WeChat moments to show off. Hua Xiqian was bored, so he walked up to Song Yisher with a glass of wine in his hand. Hey Miss Song. Young Master Hua. You're so beautiful today. I always thought that you were the most exquisite woman I've ever seen. Thank you, but if Miss Imo hears this she'll probably be jealous, right? Song Yisher smiled. No, I'm telling the truth. Shuirer won't be jealous. Song Yisher smiled but didn't say anything. I heard that Miss Song lived with the Qin family for more than a year when she was young. Song Yisher's expression changed. Young Master Hua, you sure know a lot. I heard about it by accident but I'm confused. Miss Song was cute when she was young, right? If she lived with the Qin family for so long, why didn't she and Qin Chu flirt? As soon as she finished speaking, Song Yisher couldn't hold it in anymore. She smiled awkwardly. Maybe Qin Chu doesn't like me? Who said so? All the men in the world like beautiful women. But Qin Chu is an exception. In his eyes, Hua Mian is the perfect one, right? After Song Yisher finished speaking, she picked up her glass and took a sip of champagne. The look in her eyes was complicated. President Su, we can cut the cake now, the female assistant beside him reminded him. Su Yu nodded and looked at the door but there was still no one. Everyone was here so Su Yu turned around and walked into the center of the stage. The staff pushed out a 7-layered cake. It was red and beautifully decorated. Each layer had a different design. There were roses, sports cars, boats and so on. Everyone crowded around him. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. It was a sea of people. When Su Yu of course raised his hand, all the spotlights focused on him. Then he symbolically cut the cake and fireworks began to explode. The girls screamed and took out their cell phones to record videos. A few famous female celebrities from Imperial Star surrounded Su Yu and sang happy birthday songs. Many men were envious of this scene. If I were Lord Su, I would sleep with 1 a day, 365 a year and 3 years in a row. Then I'd be able to get the Guinness Book of Best One-Night Dating Record, huh? Tang Chuan laughed. If he were as evil as you, he wouldn't be Su Yu. Wei Liao sighed. Lord Su doesn't seem to be in a good mood, Jiang Shaowei said as she looked at Su Yu of the crowd. Isn't that because the person he wants to see isn't here yet? A few people were watching from the side. Most people were gathered in the middle of the stage. No one noticed a petite figure taking advantage of the chaos. She snuck into Su Yu's mansion. After drinking with everyone, Su Yu of the crowd sat down on a bench by the pool. Just then his cell phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and was pleasantly surprised. He immediately picked it up. Hello. I'm at the southeast corner of your house. There are a lot of reporters outside. Jump over the wall, I have something to tell you. After saying this, Hua Min of the crowd hung up. She looked around Su Yu's mansion and found a secluded area in the southeast corner. There were a few Chinese parasol trees and it was a blind spot to prevent paparazzi from taking photos. That was why she called Su Yu. Chapter 899. After answering Hua Min's call, Su Yu felt his heart pounding wildly. She really did come. He didn't wait in vain. Su Yu quietly walked to the female assistant. I'm going out for a bit. If someone looks for me, tell them I'm tired and I'm going back to my room to rest. Hey, President Su. The female assistant nodded. Then Su Yu put on a black jacket to cover up the red on his body. Then while no one was looking, he walked to the southeast corner. There were no lights there so it was completely dark. Luckily the wall wasn't very high. Su Yu used to be in the military so he was very agile. He easily climbed up the wall. As expected, when he leaned over the wall he saw Hua Min in the corner. She was also wearing red. Although it was just a small cotton jacket, it was still very cute. Hey stupid girl, you're late. I already finished cutting the cake, he whispered as he leaned over the wall. Hua Min was startled. She looked up and waved her hand. Hurry up and come down. Don't let anyone take a picture of us. What are you afraid of? We're not having an affair. After speaking, Su Yu lightly jumped down from the wall that was about 2 meters high. His movements were clean and nimble. Hua Min immediately sweated. You're overthinking it. Take out the present. What? Who asks for a present? Why are you here if you don't bring a present? Su Yu looked at Hua Min amused. She brought the scarf and hat that Xie Wan knitted for her. She also brought a pair of white and furry gloves. There were also 2 rabbit ears on the hat. Then she wore a pair of black pencil pants and a bright red cotton jacket. She looked very cute. Hua Min heard that Su Yu's party was red-themed. She looked through her wardrobe. Most of the red clothes were summer dresses and dresses. She would definitely freeze to death if she wore it. Then he didn't dare to drive his Audi R8 because he was afraid that the media would take pictures of the license plate number. She took a taxi and circled around Suyu's villa several times before she found such a secret place. Hwamin carefully removed the bullet shell from his palm and handed it over. Here. What are you doing? She was a little surprised. He looked at her and refused to take it. Actually, I didn't want it when you gave it to me last time because it was too expensive. So, I wanted to take the opportunity to return it to you on your birthday. There's no reason for me to take back what I've given away. Since I gave it to you, it's yours. If you think it's too valuable, you can never use it. But you can't humiliate me like this. Suyu said coldly. Hwamin explained, I didn't mean to humiliate you. Don't overthink it. Then take it back. Suyu said with a cold face. Hwamin saw that he couldn't continue to insist, so she had no choice but to put it back. He was right. At most, she wouldn't have to use this promise for the rest of her life. So? You didn't bring any other gifts? Suyu crossed his arms and deliberately questioned her angrily. Hwamin rubbed her forehead awkwardly. Then she thought for a moment and said, I got it. Wait a second, okay? She lowered her head and took out her wallet. She pulled out a stack of cash. It was exactly 5,000 yuan. She took it out this morning to buy a computer for Shuai Shuai. Now it seemed that giving money was a good idea when she didn't have any gifts to give. A happy birthday. Buy whatever you like to eat. Suyu was speechless. Take it, you're welcome. Hwamin, I want to fucking strangle you, Suyu said with a dark face. Hwamin was the first woman to give Suyu money on his birthday. Everyone knew that Suyu didn't lack money. In the past, women tried to please him. They gave him ties, socks, cufflinks, brooches, watches and rings. Some even gave him condoms. But who would give him money? To Suyu, money was the most worthless thing in the world. Do you think it's too little? I only have this much right now. Do you want me to withdraw some more for you later? Is there an ATM nearby? Hwamin asked in all seriousness. Suyu was so angry that he was about to spit fire. If the person in front of him wasn't Hwamin, he really wanted to send him flying with a kick. So, you called me and asked me to jump over the wall to see you and you wanted to give me this? Suyu asked with a dark face. Chapter 900. Hwamin awkwardly coughed twice. Ahem, as the saying goes, plans can't keep up with changes. Seriously, her plan was to return the bullet shell. She told Chin-Chu the same thing, but he didn't want it. So she really didn't prepare any gifts. It should be hard to choose a gift for Suyu, right? He basically received high-end sports cars, villas and all kinds of expensive antiques. She heard that on his birthday last year, a coal mine owner tried to curry favor with the Su family. He actually gave him a huge golden snake. Was it because Suyu's zodiac sign was a snake? He was simply a nouveau riche. I'm sorry, if you don't want money, then I really don't have anything else. Hwamin awkwardly explained. Suyu looked down at Hwamin, who was wearing a hat and a thick cotton-padded jacket. The more he looked at her, the cuter she was. Then on impulse, before Hwamin could say anything, he suddenly picked her up with both hands. Then he spun her around 3 times. Hwamin was scared out of her wits. Just as she was about to faint, he put her down. Okay, I got my birthday present, Suyu said confidently. To him, being able to greedily hug Hwamin was already very good, very good. He didn't have any desire, he just carried her and spun her around 3 times. Without any warning, Hwamin was a little dumbfounded. Go back, it's pretty cold. Suyu knew that he couldn't keep her for too long. With Hwamin's current status, it was dangerous. The longer he stayed, the more dangerous it would be. If someone saw him, he wouldn't be able to explain himself. After speaking, Suyu turned around and left. Suyu! Hwamin suddenly shouted. Suyu stopped in his tracks, but he didn't turn around. Happy birthday, Hwamin said slowly as he stared at Suyu's tall and handsome back. Suyu still didn't turn around. Instead, he raised his right hand and made an okay gesture. Then he flipped over the wall in an extremely nimble manner. Hwamin took out his phone and looked at the time. It was about 8:20 in the evening. She ran all the way out of the neighborhood, then stopped a taxi and left. Suyu was in a good mood after jumping back over the wall. No one seemed to have noticed Suyu's temporary absence. Only a few people asked about it, and the female assistant told them what he had told her. Go get me a carton of wine. Vanilla. Your wine is that? The female assistant was slightly surprised. Is that one? After saying that, Suyu turned around and left. The female assistant was secretly surprised. Every bottle of Suyu's wine collection was worth more than 500,000 yuan. There were only 12 bottles in one box, which meant that there was more than 6 million yuan worth of wine. God, this is crazy. Did something good happen to President Su? The female assistant thought to herself. Because of Hua Min's arrival, Suyu was in a good mood. When he came back, he immediately opened a carton of expensive Lafite. Everyone was having even more fun. On the stage, Jian Tong was singing. She was a singer from a talent show and won first place that year. Later, because the recording industry wasn't ideal, she changed careers and became an actress. Now she was doing very well. However, people rarely heard her sing. She sang a very affectionate rendition of Yang Zhongwei's The Onion. Her voice was very beautiful. The entire audience was very engrossed and listened very seriously. When she sang to the climax, Jian Tong looked at Suyu, who wasn't far away, affectionately. Is Jian Tong trying to express something to you? Tang Chuan asked with a smile. Suyu didn't say anything. He just quietly listened to the song. Why did he feel like the song was talking about him? Wei Liao interjected, I think she's singing about our Lord Su's situation. Suyu smiled helplessly. Just then someone suddenly shouted, oh no, someone jumped off the building. After he said that, everyone panicked. Suyu immediately stood up. Everyone ran towards Suyu's mansion. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.